Hello there and welcome to another preview video after what has been a tough midweek in the Champions League, all things considered. Yeah, I got a few things that I'm going to talk about, and it's not necessarily going to be just about the team selection and everything like that. A lot of it's going to be to do with that. It's going to be one of the first times in a long time where I criticise Klopp and his team selection. So yeah, it's going to be to do with team selection. He comes out in his press conference, and he had a press conference today. Apparently he was quite angry at some of the questions that were being levelled at him by the press about his midfield. Is he happy with the options that he's got there, the ones that he's going with, the ones he's choosing? And he says he doesn't understand the questions about his midfield. He's confident with his midfield. There's no issues with his midfield. And that's not true. There are issues with our midfield. The issue with our midfield, though, is the combination of players we're using in there, in my opinion. I fully believe if we'd set out with a slightly different midfield on Wednesday night against PSG, the fact that we only lost the game 2-1, and we created our best chances when Naby Keita and Shaqiri were on the pitch, we could have actually gone out there and done the business. We could have got a draw. I fully believe that we would have created something of merit. I really, really do. I firmly believe that. We were outplayed in that first half. We were outplayed. We were getting outdone, not only by their midfield, not only by their forwards, but by their defence. They defended very, very well, PSG. The midfield controlled us quite well. Actually, really well, let's be honest. Let's not, even try and sugarcoat it. They did really well. And their forwards, Mbappe, Neymar, Cavani less so, but he was a big distraction as well to allow Neymar and Mbappe to do what they do. Which can be, they can be amazing to watch, but a lot of it was also to flop around the floor and buy time, which is what they did, and they did it really, really well. And I don't like to admit that. I hate that side of the game. Is it something that Liverpool should adopt? Should we start rolling around on the floor and trying to buy time here and there? Hell yeah! Absolutely, I think we should be. And I don't want to see it. But this is the trickery that you're going to come up against in the Champions League especially. So, before we even get in to previewing the Merseyside derby, our Champions League hopes hang in the balance. It is now clear. We have to win. And there is no two ways about it. We have to win with a minimum of 2 goals against Napoli. A team that we couldn't break down away. We're playing them at Anfield, which will be hopefully a little bit better for us. And we have to score 2 goals against a team we haven't scored any in the last fixture. They beat us in the 90 plus minutes. If we drop into the Europa League, massively going to affect what happens to us in the Premier League. And I don't want that to happen. I would much rather us get through this bit, make it by the skin of our teeth into the knockout rounds, and get knocked out in the next round than go into the Europa League. I honest to God really, really would. There hasn't been a team in the Premier League that drops to the Europa League that I can remember and doesn't do poorly in the league. Man United won the Europa League to get them into the Champions League the next season. They finished 6th in the league. Arsenal, when they were in the Europa League, I think 2 years in a row, 5th and 6th or something like that. We're doing really well in the league, and this is how I'm going to bring it back to the Merseyside derby. We are doing really, really well in the league. We're 2nd place, 2 points off City. Goal difference, we're miles away, but so is everybody else. It's just one of those things. It's unbelievable, right? Man City are scoring goals for fun. They will have a bigger goal difference than everybody else in the league by the end of the year, unless by some freak thing happens where all of their forwards get injured. And I don't see it happening. I don't. I really, really don't. I don't think anybody does. What we have to do is keep doing well in the league, and if we drop into the Europa League, that won't happen. There's something about playing on Thursday nights that does something to Premier League teams. It doesn't work. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I like the Europa League. I do. I genuinely do. I watch the Europa League and we're not even in it. I watch like to see what teams are, what's happening, what's going on. Some of the football's good, some of it's great, some of it's great, some of it's really diabolical. But I like the competition and the fact that you win the competition, you get in the Champions League next season. That's massive for someone like, say, like Arsenal. If they don't hit top four, but with how they play, and Unai Emery, for example, he's won it. I think, did he win it 3 times in a row with Sevilla? He's got pedigree in that competition, and he could easily go, not easily, but he could win. If he wins the Europa League for Arsenal, bang, they're in the Champions League next year if they don't make top 4. Anyway, I don't think that we could do it. I think we would drop into the Europa League, and I don't think we would win. And I think it would massively affect our Premier League chances. The chances there. It's much more there than it has been since 13-14 season. This is a very strong City team that we've got to try and overcome in the league. We could do it. They've got to make mistakes, which they don't look like they're making. But we can't drop to the Europa League. We absolutely can't. I kind of think that we will, and I just hope that we just tank it. I really do. If we end up going to the Europa League, I hope we just tank the competition in whoever we come up against, don't care who it is, play the kids, do whatever, get out of the competition as quick as possible. That's my feelings on it anyway. Bringing it back to the Merseyside derby, right? And how Liverpool would it be is if we went out and actually lost, right? Okay? That's going to sound really, really negative, right? Because we haven't lost the Merseyside derby in God knows how long. But it would be absolute prime Liverpool if we did. And I don't think that we will. But this is a strong this is a strong Everton team. I think they're still only 9th in the league, but they play well. They've got really creative players, good players up front. Richarlison is a hell of a player as well. And I just think it's a technical team. Marco Silva's got them playing a good brand of football, which I think is the closest thing they've had since Roberto Martinez in recent times. Yes, they're only 9th in the league, but they're going to want to get one over on us. They're going to want to look at, Liverpool are coming off a loss in midweek. Let's take advantage of that. My response to that would be, and hopefully Liverpool's response as well, bringing it back to why I was angry about Jurgen Klopp's selection in the Champions League. You bought Fabinho. You bought Naby Keita. All right, Keita's been out injured and he's coming back from injury. Right? We've got Shaqiri who's been playing really well. If we keep seeing a Henderson, Wijnaldum and Milner midfield, teams are going to come to us or we're going to go to them and they're going to look at that and go, absolutely awesome, we're winning this midfield battle. Honest to God. Honestly, whoever you are, honestly. No, seriously, if we see that, you can have some of those players together with somebody else. You can't really have them all together because Milner and Henderson are too similar. Wijnaldum's a little bit similar to both of them, but not the same. He's a little bit different in his own right. It's too static. And if you don't know what I mean by static is probably not what the definition of it is. But what I mean by static is it just doesn't do a lot. It stays in midfield, moves around a little bit, passes balls here and there, backwards, sideways, sometimes forwards, right? But other than that, it doesn't offer a great deal. Doesn't offer like cutting, driving passes like you see from Shaqiri, like Keita is capable of doing, like Fabinho is capable of doing from deep. And that's kind of what I want to see. I would love us, not to say that we have to go, right, you guys performed poorly against PSG, bang, you're all out, and we're going to put Fabinho, Naby Keita and Shaqiri in. You know what? I would absolutely love to see that. I don't think we will, though. I really don't think that we will. What I would love to see that happen with that midfield, though, is if we were to go with that, you put Fabinho as the defensive midfielder in front of the defence. And then the 2 midfielders in front, Shaqiri and Naby Keita. Wow. Imagine that little bit of creativity that you've got in front of the forwards. Imagine that. Shaqiri's been performing really, really well lately. I think he should be in the team all the time. I really do. And I think that Naby Keita, when he's coming back into the team, gets his fitness up, gets everything like that up, and comes back into the team, he's going to offer so much. Imagine what that could be like if you put Fabinho as the central defensive midfielder. All right, he performs better as a 2, like with 2 CDMs, right? But, or when he was at Monaco in his best season when they won the title, they played with 2. It was him and Bakayoko as a partnership. He can still do a hell of a job, though. He would still do an amazing job, I feel, as a CDM. And then the 2 people going forward in the midfield, or creating, shall we say, Shaqiri and Naby Keita. Bang! How does that sound? How does that sound? Honestly, you've got the defensive solidity in Fabinho, as well as the creative long passes that he can do, and how, like, brick shithouse that he is. He's very physical, tall guy, can win headers. His interceptions are really good. He's got good pace. He'll always tackle back. That's brilliant. And then you've got 2 really creative people in the midfield to feed the front 3 of whoever it could be. That I would love to see that. I just don't think we will. I think you maybe see it maybe later on in the season. You're not going to see it against Everton. I really don't think you will. Honest to God, I imagine that we're going to see Shaqiri in midfield, and it's going to be Milner and Fabinho, because Henderson's suspended, which a lot of people love. That's up to you. I like Henderson, but he lost his head last week. That's just my opinion. So, getting into the rest of the starting lineup, I was not impressed to see Trent Alexander-Arnold rested in the Champions League. I understand it a little bit. You're going to get a local lad who's come up through the youth system of Liverpool, and you're going to get a young lad. He's going to play right back against Everton. Great, cool, no problem. He can play every 3 or 4 days. He's a young lad. It's right there. He's a young lad. Joe Gomez, centre back. Joe Gomez, centre back, please. Joe Gomez is a centre back. Put him alongside Van Dijk. Things happen. Honestly, I think having Gomez at right back the other night, he's a good utility right back, if you know what I mean. But he's not a natural right back in my opinion. He's really good, but he's not a natural right back. Bang. Central defence. Come on. He's been amazing all season. He's been absolutely phenomenal all season as a centre back. No, we're going to bring Lovren in. I don't like Lovren. I'm going to get it out there. A lot of people seem to have this thing that they love him now, that because he absolutely cleaned out Ramos or something like that. I honestly could not care less. I really couldn't. Don't care. If you're not over the Champions League final by now, I don't really know what to say. I was over it the next day. It's one of them. Backline has to be Alisson in goal, Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez, Trent Alexander-Arnold. It has to be. It just has to be for me. That's our best defence that we've had all season, that we've had in a long, long time. It has to be that. That's what it needs to be, unless someone's injured, right? That's what it needs to be. If everyone's fit and firing, put that in there. Midfield, we've already spoke about. Fabinho, Milner, and Shaqiri, or something like that. That's what I would love to see. I expect to see. Well, what I would love to see would be the Fabinho, Keita, and Shaqiri. But as a compromise, it'll either be Milner or Wijnaldum, with Fabinho and Shaqiri. That's what I expect to see. I'd be disappointed if we go back to like a fairly static midfield of like, say, Milner, Gini Wijnaldum, and Fabinho. I still think that's quite static in a way, with the only creative outlet in that midfield would be Fabinho, and he's defensive. So, and then the front 3, I still imagine it'll be Firmino, Salah, and Mane. I really think that they will, if we can get some sort of creativity in midfield, they will actually be able to shine. I really think that they'll do quite well in this game, if so. If we set up static midfield, there's a good chance. There's a good chance that we could either draw or lose this game. How about that? Honestly, we are either going to hit a good vein of form in a reaction to that PSG game, and we're going to turn things around and things are going to be rosy, or we're going to allow it to get into our mentality, and we may enter a bad run of form. It is coming into Christmas, so we are due one at some point. a bad run of form. Everybody is at some point, just apart from City. Theirs only last like 3 games last season. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that we come out and I hope that we come out all guns blazing and batter the absolute back doors off Everton. I really, really do. We can do it. We know we can do it. But there's something different about Everton this year. And all right, they're not as high in the league as they probably think they should be, or want to be at least. But they've got talent in there. They've got talent. You know, they're being utilised in the right way. So it's going to be a dangerous game. It's not a game like I said against Watford. We won 3-0. It was comfortable in the end, but it's not a given game. It's not just a given that we can go out there, and because we've got this great record against Everton in derbies, we've got this magnificent record in derbies against Everton. Doesn't matter, honestly, because it all comes down to a game by game basis, and that's how I look at this. Yes, it's a Merseyside derby. It's huge, biggest game that we've had because it's our rivals. These are our rivals, our City rivals, and it's going to be huge. We can't lose. We cannot lose. And in my opinion, we can't draw. You know, as we keep being told by the media, we have to keep pace with Manchester City. We know that. We don't need to be told that. All right? So, let's just shh. We know. Quiet, Martin Keown. So, I fully expect that Liverpool are going to come out and we're going to win this game. And I think that, honestly, we could shut Everton out. If we start with that one that team I talked about with Shaqiri in it, Fabinho in it, Milner or Gini, then yeah, I think we can shut out Everton. I think we can snuff them out at the back, and I think we can go forward and be creative, and we can really slice them up. But if we go static midfield, then I would expect it to be a draw. I really would, and I don't think it would be a pretty game at all. I really don't. But I'm going to try and be the rambling that I've done, and I do think that Liverpool will come out of this one with a clean sheet, and I think that we'll come out of this one 2-0 victory. I really do. I really do. I want to end this game. I want to end this week on a positive. It's not been a positive week. I haven't made videos. I didn't make a PSG preview or a review. It's not been a positive week at all. So let's have a positive week. Let's have a positive end to the week, please. Give us something, Liverpool. We need something to believe that everything's going to be fine, dandy and rosy, and that we're not going to go back into the Europa League. We're done with those days, and we don't want to go back in there. All right? Yeah? Got it? Let's have it. Right. Thanks ever so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, thank you ever so much, honestly. And if you have liked it, please do like the video and leave a comment. Your thoughts and feelings of Liverpool at the moment. Am I wrong? Am I right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you ever so much again, and I'll catch you later.